Hello, good afternoon, friends. We are meeting on the same platform at the same time with one more new condition and the mother tincture. We have to learn different mother tinctures along with the different diseased conditions, the homeopathic approaches towards such conditions. So today I will going to discuss regarding the common skin entity for which the patients comes to us to homeopaths. Vitiligo is one of the important condition for which number of people approaches towards the homeopaths. Being a one-sided disease, it doesn't have a lot of symptoms, and that's why most difficult to treat is the vitiligo. If we consider the skin eruptions or the skin conditions according to their eruptions, this comes under the macular skin conditions. We know that the eruptions are classified into four different types: the macular, papular, vesicular, and the pustular. Macular means any skin eruption which is not raised above the skin surface, lies beneath the skin, and altered in skin color is called as a macular skin condition. Any skin eruption which is raised above the skin surface but less than 1 centimeter in diameter is called as papule. A papule which contains fluid is called as a vesicle. If a vesicle is more than 1 centimeter in diameter, it is called as bulla. And a papule which contains pus is called as a pustule. So basically there are four varieties of eruptions. When we consider the macular skin eruptions, there are two important skin entities which are there. The first is called as a nevus. Nevus, to which we label by the name of a birthmark, जन्मखून म्हणतो आपण त्याला. So it is a congenital skin entity. In fact, it is present since birth. It is a asymptomatic patch. It is hyperpigmented, generally appears on the trunk. There is absence of scaling. The sensations are normal over it. So in 80% of persons, the patch disappears as the age advances. In certain people, it remains as it is, and it never requires any treatment. So that is the first condition, macular condition is nevus. But the second macular skin condition, the vitiligo, or which is also labeled by the name of leukoderma, is very important to understand. This vitiligo disorder is one of the important disorder to be understood because there is a social stigma associated with this disorder. Those who are having the vitiligo or a leukoderma, the people look towards them with a different eyes, different attitude, and that's why these people suffers a lot, and that's why having a social stigma behind it, they tries to recover this condition, going here and there, always finding it out different solutions, and goes into confusion, ultimately remains incurable. And that's why it is very important to understand. So vitiligo, it is generally absence of melanin pigmentation is called as vitiligo. Generally it happens as a because of melanocyte which gets killed, which gets destroyed, and it is considered to be a hereditary disorder. It is because of melanocytes destruction, and that's why it is considered as an autoimmune disorder. And this autoimmune disorder or a psychosomatic condition expresses anywhere on the body. There are different varieties, but before going into different varieties, we learn few things. Being an autoimmune disorder, it is generally associated with sometimes diabetes, with sometimes thyroiditis, sometimes with pernicious anemia. These are the things with which it is remaining associated. Predisposing factors are very important to understand. If you understand predisposing factors, we can remove them while treating those cases. And if you remove them, the speed of recovery is always hastened. And that's why it is too important to understand what are the predisposing factors behind it. First important predisposing factor is intestinal helminthiasis. Worm infestation is one of the important entity because of which it gets aggravated or it gets stimulated. So that is first important thing one must know. Second important is the trauma. Sometimes it is related with the trauma and it starts right from there. Any septic focus inside the body stimulates the vitiligo. Then contact with the plastic or contact with the rubber generally used to stimulate this process, and that's why that is one of the predisposing factor one must not forget. And one more is there that is very common is the mental stress and strain. Generally it happens that these people tries to hide those eruptions. There is always a stress in their mind, and not only with the patient's mind, with the parents' mind, that how this will, what will happen regarding my daughter or son, whether she will get married or whether he will get married or not. Such types of typical things in the Indian people, they are always there, and there is always this stress remains at the background, and this stress itself is responsible to more and more increase in the vitiligo patches. There was one of the patient who came to me. She was a BHMS student. She came to me 10 years back or 15 years back, and she came to me, asked outside in my reception cabin, sir are there? Sir is there? She said yes. Then she asked one important thing, that is there anyone with sir? She said yes, one student is there. She ran away from my clinic. Again after 8 days she came. Again she asked the same question. And when it was known to her that I am alone in the clinic, no student is there, then she entered and she asked me that she was having some problem. Then I asked, what is your problem? In fact, even in summer, she came with complete hand gloves and everything covered, along with a very packed thing around the neck, and with which she came into the clinic. And then she removed that and told me, I am having vitiligo. See, this is the thing which happens whenever vitiligo is there. I discussed lot of things with her. I took her case, I have pointed out a remedy, but I asked that till you hide it, it will not going to recover. When this happens, that when you yourself never accepts the disease, you are in the state of delusion, and till you are in delusion, you will never get recovered. So this is the basic concept of understanding the disease. This is disease as a delusion concept of Rajan Shankar. That you are not in reality, you are not accepting that you are having vitiligo. If you still remains in that delusion and you compare yourself with others, you try to hide it, it means that you are still in that delusion, you are not accepting the reality, the disease will going to persist. I asked her, if you want to take the treatment, what is required is basically this specific thing. What is required is nothing but that you have to openly say, yes, if anyone asks, yes, I am having vitiligo. You accept first, yes, you are having vitiligo, you are having leukoderma. I told her, I have given nearly about 2 hours to that. She was in lot of depression. She was in final year, she was in very much depression. I discussed each and everything. And then I said, keep it open. If anyone asks you, she said that number of people ask, they suggest me and I get irritated. I told her that you don't get irritated. It is the nature of the human. that they will going to ask. You tell them frankly, yes, I am having the patches, I am taking treatment, I am feeling better. If I will not get result, I will ask you. So this is simple answer which gives you confidence. Yes, I have accepted my disease. And then I have started treatment to her, and she recovered very fast. Within span of 6 months to 8 months, she recovered very fast, even though she was having type 1 vitiligo. So this is what you have to discuss with the patient, because such types of things which happens, and this psychosomatic stress and strain is one of the important factor because of which patient never recovers completely. So you have to give a time. The psychotherapy plays very vital role in such types of cases. I deal with such types of cases with a lot of psychotherapy along with homeopathic medicine. So basically, these are the predisposing factors which are quite common. If we'll go towards the signs and symptoms, few important thing, that is the symptoms are not there. It is a asymptomatic patch, so symptoms are not there. So whatever are present, they are the signs, and their signs, the first important thing sign, it is a macular patch, that is very important. So it lies beneath the skin, so macular skin condition. Second important thing, it is always depigmented patch, that is very characteristic. Third important sign, there is absence of scaling. Scaling is not there with the vitiligo patches, so that is confirmatory. You have to compare. The fourth point, the borders are always convex. This is too important to understand. The borders are always convex. They are not concave, always convex. This again a characteristic indication. Usually basal erythema is present at the borders. So this is very important thing, that basal erythema, it is associated with erythema, and that's why you can differentiate whether it is a pityriasis alba or whether it is vitiligo. You just press over it and release it. It becomes white and again becomes red. That means a blanching sign, which is very important in to diagnose the vitiligo. So blanching sign, that is, it blanches on pressure, so it becomes white and again becomes red, is very typical of this vitiligo. And sensations are always remains normal; they never gets altered in vitiligo. So these are very important essential things one must know while understanding the vitiligo. So you are able to diagnose whether it is pityriasis alba, that is avitaminosis spots developed because of worm infestation, or it is a vitiligo. So very easy to differentiate on the basis of that. Complications generally because of non-protection from the sun, because of absence of melanin. The most common complication which happens to be there is the sun dermatitis. So sun dermatitis is the only complication which develops. Generally they becomes, whenever they goes into the sun, the skin becomes absolutely red, and then it burns, then it itches. That is the only thing which happens at that time. Dr. Sanjay Jadhav have asked blanching sign. Blanching sign means, blanching test is, it is just when you press over the skin patch on the vitiligo spot, a white spot. Whenever you press it and release it, it becomes first white and again a redness comes. So because basal erythema is the basal very important characteristic over there, and that basal erythema, when you give the pressure over it, that it immediately it becomes the redness disappears because of pressure, and again it recurs within span of 5 to 10 seconds. It indicates that there is erythema is present, and this indicates that there is a vitiligo. So this is very important to understand that it has a blanching sign. So these are the signs, symptoms, no symptoms, then complications we have discussed. And now we have to understand the two varieties of it. The first variety, which is widespread, called or labeled as a type 1 vitiligo. In fact, generally this type 1 vitiligo is happens to be there at the either it is a central, it is center, either it is around the lips, it is bilaterally symmetrical, generally both eyes, around the eyes it is there, around the nose or it is there. It is centrally on either on spine on backside, either centrally on the body, then on the nipples, then on the genital parts. This is quite common at this specific level. This is type 1 variety. Wherever there is a the skin becomes thickened or hyperpigmented, at that level specifically this is present. Even on pressure points on both elbows, both knees, knuckles, everywhere this type 1 variety is generally present. And it is most difficult disorder because 90% of times you get a hereditary history behind this type 1 variety of vitiligo. So hereditary history is quite common with the type 1 and they are most difficult. The prognosis is not better. If they starts aggravating, they spreads so fast that to tackle that is very difficult. Generally these people goes to an allopath. They gives considering it as an autoimmune disorder, they gives the steroids to the patient, which steroids temporarily it gets immediately suppressed because autoimmune reaction gets suppressed, and that's why patient feels are very they are getting very good results. And when they stops the steroids, when it comes out, the palliation is always followed by an aggravation. This is the rule. And when it comes out, it involves whole body, it spreads so fast, then it becomes the curable entity can become incurable because of that. So this is very important to understand that type 1 vitiligo is generally a difficult disorder to treat than the type 2. So you must understand this. This is very typical about the type 1 variety. Generally, this is typically autoimmune. So there is a destruction of melanocytes which happens over there, melanoblasts, and there that's why the vitiligo is there. So if you consider it that type 1 variety, what do you think? The miasm is definitely a syphilitic because it happens because of destruction. And if it is so, then you have to consider the anti-syphilitic remedy. See, this is very important here. One must think about it when you treat the vitiligos. So if it is bilaterally symmetrical, when it is central, when it is affecting the pressure areas, hyperpigmented areas around the eyes, around the nose, or around lips, nipples, the genitals, then this type 1 variety is there. And this type 1, always keep it in your mind that syphilitic miasm is always lurking behind. My suggestion for you in such types of cases, open your repertory. You will have one important symptoms in your skin, eruptions, symmetrical, and you will have syphilinum over there. Syphilinum plays very vital role to tackle this disease, and that's why must give these intercurrent doses of a syphilinum 1 m, 10 m, 50 m, cm in frequent doses, which will control that disease. So that is very important anti-miasmatic remedy, a nozole which you can use in such types of cases. Second important remedy which is also there in that, and we generally never think of it because we think of that remedy only in cases of injuries. Most important remedy I'm trying and I'm getting very good results is arnica, which is also there with the with this that bilaterally symmetrical eruption symmetrical, you'll get arnica. And then one again, logically when I think about it, I generally think that trauma is one of the important reason behind the vitiligo. In the predisposing factor, the second predisposing factor I have mentioned over there is the trauma. So why not to think about the arnica? I am using in arnica since last 5 to 6 years, and results are very much improved with the help of arnica. The process has stimulated a lot. So these are two important remedies which I am thinking when on the basis of eruption symmetrical and on the basis of a trauma. So type 1 variety vitiligo, difficult But here you have to approach with the proper simillimum constitutional anti-miasmatic remedy. But these are two hints, keep it in your mind. These are practical hints, you have to match your patient's remedy. So it varies from patient to patient. Patient might be from any remedy. It might be Oramet, it might be anything, lycopodium, natramur, natrum sulf, whatever may be. But these are the two hints which I have given, I have explained with this. So that is the first variety which we have learned, that is the type 1. The second variety, generally simple to treat, is called as a type 2 vitiligo, which is also called as a dermatomal. So dermatomal variety, you infrequent patches somewhere else, anywhere, generally predominantly present in children also, and it is one of the patch which appears somewhere else, and it doesn't have a speed to develop, and these are infrequent, and probably they are not associated with the autoimmune condition. That variety is a type 2 variety. So this is the classification which we have to understand while considering the vitiligo. And then the approach in say type 2. The type 2 variety, it's too simple to manage. You have to find it out, patient's remedy, match that remedy, give it to the patient, and then you can treat that patient very easily. And generally in such both types of patients you can get very good results. When I learned earlier, Dr. Ramesh Atre sir, he was sorry, there was disturbance in the internet connection. Uh, Sorry. So what I was discussing, that I have learned with Dr. Ramesh Atre, a skin specialist, renowned skin specialist from the Pune, and he used to teach us all those things. And he was very clear regarding the management. He was very clear how to approach and how to go. And he used to tell me, yes, Prasad, first important thing, tackle the predisposing factor. So whatever the predisposing factors are there, those predisposing factors generally you have to tackle. So my approach, he used to do deworming with allopathic medicines. So he used to give deworms, antiworm tablets from allopathic. We can think in a different manner. We can give Sina to the patient. One more remedy one should not forget in such types of cases, which I had a reference either with Dr. S.R. Phatak sir or either from S.R. Wadia. I don't recollect it, but he used to give Teucrium marum varum in vitiligo, and Teucrium marum varum is again an anti-helminthic remedy. So that remedy generally helps in hastening the process in such cases. Second important thing I used to discuss regarding the vitiligo with the patient, I did just give the psychotherapy and discuss most important things with the patient. So they can come out, they can get the confidence to recover. Today morning only there was a case which I was treating. It is type 1 vitiligo. Since last 1.25 year I was treating him, and nearly about 70% recovery happened, even though he had a widespread lesions, bilaterally symmetrical on both legs, both hands, and even also on neck, and it recovered very nicely with the help of this approach. So I generally think about this. Basically, the helminthiasis can be covered with the Sina or Teucrium marum varum. You can give that, and then you start with your own remedy. One of the important remedy everyone knows is the Arsenicum sulflavum, and this arsulflavum in 6x potency I used to use with each and every case regularly. I used to give it along with the chronic constitutional remedy as a single dose, and then I continue with the arsulflavum 6x and BD doses, and along with sometimes infrequent doses of cipilinum, sometimes arnica, and most important remedy I used to use mother tincture is nothing but the Soralia. So today's mother tincture is Soralia core and for local application. It is the Bapchi from Ayurveda. It is an Indian drug generally used for the same purpose in Ayurveda also. And same extracts are taken and converted into a allopathic medicine, and it is Maxorlin lotion they generally used to apply on this is prepared from the Bapchi only. So same mother tincture which we used to use is there in Ayurveda as well as in allopathy and for the same purpose again. Why it is used? Because it has certain characteristics, and those characteristics if you understand then we can apply it very clearly. It is strong enough. Generally, if you apply it directly, sometimes the skin, which is very delicate, can show a erythema or erythematous reactions over there. So, if you are applied and patient starts getting itching and it becomes more red, then you have to dilute it in the coconut oil 50% and then ask the patient to apply. So that excessive reaction, exaggerated reaction, erythematous reaction can disappear under that. But that erythematous reaction is necessary reaction with which there is a stimulus of the melanoblast. So we'll learn it from the Borix Medica, the Soralia corleofolia. It is also called as Bapchi. Clinical, there are two important indications mentioned by him. It is leukoderma and streptococci. So streptococcal skin affections, this remedy plays a very vital role. What he says further, has a powerful action against the skin streptococci. So this is very important first sentence which is mentioned over there. Locally beneficial in the treatment of leukoderma of a non-syphilitic origin. See, this is very important reason which he mentioned. So here we can understand that it has a syphilitic background. So leukoderma is having a syphilitic background. Why he is saying like that? If it is syphilitic origin, that means if patches are very big, you cannot apply Soralia everywhere. It is too costly to apply. So generally when patches are less or somewhere only on open parts, those you can treat with the help of this Soralia. It dilates the arterioles of the subcapillary plexus. See, this is pathophysiological action which is very important to understand. When you apply the Soralia, what happens? It dilates the specifically the arterioles of the subcapillary plexus. The plasma content in that area is increased. So the plasma over that area, there is a congestion which happens. Plasma comes over there and it becomes hyperemic. So hyperemia which happens because of application of this Soralia. The melanoblasts are stimulated leading to pigment formation. See, very nicely mentioned over there by Boris, that melanocytes are there which get stimulated because of this reaction and then pigment formation starts. It diffuses into the decolorized leukodermic patches. So whenever it starts developing melanocytes, melanin pigment starts appearing and it gets diffused in the vitiligo patches and it gets colored. So this Soralia core is a very important mother tincture which I used to use in all types of patients, but when it is widespread, I ask them only on open parts you should apply, not on each and every part. Second important thing, this remedy, you're going to ask me that whether it is curative. It is not specifically curative unless you treat the internal disease. You have to treat the miasm with the help of a dynamic similimum. You have to treat the defects in constitution with the help of a constitutional remedy. So ultimately you have to find it out a constitutional similimum, antimiasmatic similimum for the case. Along with that, you can think of arsenicum sulflavum and the Soralia mother tincture as a local. If you find it out that the patient who is so much disturbed because of that disease and not getting, not accepting the disease very easily, Kaliphos is one of the biochemical remedy which you can add in such types of patient, so that if you tranquilize them, then automatically the recovery process gets hastened. So this is my approach looking towards the uh, this vitiligo or leukoderma, and I have discussed one mother tincture Sorelia core. Few people applies hydrocodone, but I generally never used. Very occasionally, once in a while, I have used hydrocodone. So I will not comment about hydrocodone regarding the vitiligo, but I have used it in psoriasis definitely, but not for vitiligo. So I think today we have discussed Sorelia mother tincture. Dose is Sorelia locally only, not internally in such types of cases I have used, and this remedy works beautifully in vitiligo cases. So I know that this is a short session, but this short but a very important session for homeopaths and homeopathic students, because nowadays you are getting lot of cases of vitiligo. Actually, this depigmentation was very common with the Europeans, but not with the Indians. But because of adulteration in food, the environmental changes, the quality of food disappeared, disturbed, the lot of stresses appeared, and because of which this vitiligo is increasing day by day. So we get such types of cases, and we can easily handle the vitiligo with the help of homeopathy. So thank you being there regularly. Tomorrow is Sunday, but we'll definitely meet even on Sunday. We'll have good session tomorrow. I don't know what it will be. I will post it on the group, and then we'll discuss regarding that tomorrow. Thanks a lot again to all people, so all the homeopaths who are there. Thank you, Dr. Jayesh Sagar sir. Then thank you, Dr. Ravi Zavre, Dr. Madhuri Ladda. Lot of people are there. Even Dr. Rahul Joshi, very good homeopath as well as singer, Dr. Thorat. So we'll meet again tomorrow at the same time. Thanks a lot.